Okay. So, hi everyone. For those who don't know me, I'm here to convince you about myself and why I'm running for this position because the people that already know me do not need to hear what I've done to climb all the way here. SHIP is all about leadership, academics, professionalism, and growth. And I'm here as a proof of that. My name is Ramon Castrejon and I'm running to be your 2020-2021 chapter president. I remember joining SHIP in my freshman year of college and joking with some friends about how I would someday find myself being president of this club. I still feel the passion that embraced me that night when that same joke turned into a vivid image of all the things that I would do and how much of an opportunity and blessing it is to be on SHIP. And here I find myself again, running for the fourth year consecutively for an Eboard position, but nonetheless, the position that carries on a huge responsibility being the chapter president. So, not only am I here to tell you my story, I'm here to present you my greatest success, my growth as a person. Entering one of the hardest majors in college and maintaining a GPA greater than 3.5 while working two jobs and being part of the executive board of the biggest and best engineering club of the U of A is something I will be proud of for the rest of my life. My involvement in this club has been for as long as I've been in college. I know the ins and outs of the events, how ASUA and ESC can be our greatest resource, or how we apparently are cursed from being in Springfield anymore, and of course the socials. It is my honor to stand here and talk to all of you about how I plan to lead this club and its members to future success. Of course, the president isn't just about who's been here longer. It's about a person with the right experience, leadership, and knowledge about the chapter. A president will always look to improve what the general body attains from this club. My ideas mainly focus on the well-being of the general body members, Eboard, and our corporate relations by approaching them with effective communication and leadership. So with this whole COVID-19 situation and its inherent uncertainty, it is hard to tell what direction should the Eboard head towards. For the time being, our job is to wait for President Robbins to inform us about the U of A's decision for the rest of the year. So given the current situation, I want to further encourage current and future Eboard as well as general body members to stay at home. With my free time, I will focus on coming up with interesting meetings or activities during the summer so that your daily routine doesn't get boring. Because I know that some people lost their internships or even their jobs due to the virus. So for instance, we could make another Jackbox game night, or we could even make like tutorials for you guys to learn something and be productive. I believe it was a great idea to have the ship Discord since people can communicate with each other and engage in activities in a comfortable manner. And since we're talking about the ship Discord, I want to bring up my idea of Slack. And my intention is to coordinate with the chapter members to slowly start shifting towards having all of our announcements in Slack. And I know what you guys are gonna say after the whole ship conference thing and stuff, but be realistic, guys. It was not bound to be successful as we wanted to be. My reasoning to moving away from Facebook is because number one, Slack is a professional app that, of course, engineers and professionals use. So we should be engaging and adapting towards these new ways of communicating as a chapter. Plus, it's basically like a professional Discord, and it's straightforward and user friendly. Second, Slack it's widely used between other ship chapters as well as for ship national announcements. Plus, it's almost always used in conferences, competitions. And obviously, this won't be an easy transition because we have so many alumni and members in the Facebook page and whatnot, but we have the whole year to figure it out. And this will set a precedent that can be followed next year until it eventually becomes the norm. And I promise if this doesn't work, we will just roll it out and forget about it. Another issue I like to address is how Eboard approaches our general body. In this past years, I've heard and experienced this sort of boundary between Eboard and general body. And I like to approach this issue by gradually forming a habit between the chapter where we go through a dynamic of asking questions or even just giving the members the ability to start their own little side projects by themselves and bring it up to the Eboard for us to support them. Of course, this will only be possible with the right incentives, and as a president, I will work closely with our executive vice president to make sure that we create an environment that is as inclusive as possible. Now, over the years, if there's anything I've seen in the chapter struggle, is our members to effectively communicate with their peers or teammates. Things such as asking for help and delegating tasks is a very valuable skill that not only comes in your daily life, but also in a professional setting. Therefore, it is one of my goals to make sure that everyone has a sense of how to ask for help and seek for communication between their teammates, committee, or ship Eboard, as well as how to delegate tasks and recognize when you have just too much on your plate. Now, moving on to our sponsors. It is crucial for the president to showcase the potential of our members and the club itself in regards to sponsorship and corporate relations. In order to maintain and form new relationships with companies, a monthly professional newsletter will be sent to sponsors and alumni. And this is an idea that has been in the limbo for the longest time, and it was executed last year. However, I believe that it was not as consistent as it should have been, and consistency is the most effective way to communicate with people as busy as our sponsors and our alumni. Therefore, I will work closely with the secretary to make sure that we have our sponsors and alumni updated about our events, the member of the month, social, important dates, and our Eboard schedule. Next on my list is leadership. This program has been one of the most essential to influence the general body members into pursuing an Eboard position in the future. I followed this program in my freshman year and saw it on my sophomore and junior years. I like the approach that previous presidents have been taking on this. So, in addition, I think it will be a good idea to have guest speakers or sponsors come to talk to our members that attend leadership so there's more insight about the leadership in industry, research, or in everyday life. Finally, being the president means being the face of SHIP, and this is a very important task because I will be representing all of you. To me, being the face of SHIP does not just mean looking cool and all in the meetings or presenting myself to people outside of the club. It also means being there for all of you guys. Because you guys are the most important part of this club. You're the heart of the club and its sole existence. As the face of SHIP UA, I will make myself available for the events where we showcase our club. I will be there for the socials. And I will be there for the people that need my help, just like SHIP has done for me. Now, I'd like to wrap it up by telling all of you what you deserve. As the biggest engineering club in the U of A, you deserve the greatest leader out there, the best officers out there, the best academic experience someone can have in college. You deserve a familia that is always there for you, en las buenas y en las malas. All in all, these are the things inspiring me to run as your chapter president. And as your chapter president, I will be that person leading our familia into what you deserve, the best of the best. Thank you. Now I'm open for questions.
Yeah, thank you, Ramon. Similar to Fabian, we're open to questions from the general body. Jubin raised his hand in chat, so he can go first.
Yeah, okay. So how would you ensure better communication within the e-board and making sure that, we can all depend on each other more?
I think over the years, it has proven essential to have the leadership training with um Mr. Valenzuela. And besides that, I think it's really important that if we're going to be using an app such as WhatsApp, I think it has been an issue that like people haven't been responding or anything. But the major thing that I've recognized from this is that it's mainly due to first having either their chat muted or that WhatsApp doesn't update by itself. So I would require all of the Eboard that would be working with me to have the app updated at all times and to not mute it. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, Alejandro raised his hand next and he kept it up, so he will be asking the next question.
Thank you. You mentioned you wanted to, continue working with sponsors, maybe like Raytheon or IBM, whoever we're currently working with. Have you thought about possibly getting sponsorship for members attending, let's say, what's the one in LA? I forgot what it's called. National Ship Conference. So what's the other event in
RLDC?
RODC? There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Have you thought about possibly reaching out to them and see if they sponsor some members for that?
You mean like having people from chapters from LA sponsored, or?
Oh no, I mean like our sponsor like Raytheon and IBM. Kind of how we did for Honeywell. Have you thought about expanding that more?
Oh, like extending like the sponsorship towards also RLDC?
Yeah, or like or just like furthering what we do for already ship conference.
Yes, I think looking into RLDC is like very important because of course it's like mostly like about personal growth, not as much as having like it a conference or a career fair. So I think working closely mostly with either like the executive vice president or the treasurer, hopefully Spring Fling would be available for us next year, like for the first time in like 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can like make money out of that, and we can look into like sponsoring more members towards RLDC.
Cool. Thank you.
Alon, you may ask your question now.
Awesome. Really good speech, first and foremost, but I just have a quick question on, you spoke about leadership being very important, which yes, it is. I just have a quick, so I'd like to know, how would you go about creating a sense of accountability between members of the e-board as well as members in the group? Because I believe that accountability is very important between, like, especially e-board when you want to work with a really good system. What sorts of strategies would you employ to have a good foundation for everybody to work together and stay true to their word that they say during like meetings and stuff?
Yeah, I think you bring out like a really good point about accountability, but I believe that accountability is not the foundation of our values. Like our foundation should like foremost be like prioritizing our members and what they attain from it, responsibility, of course, effectively communicating with everyone. And I feel like setting a strong foundation, as it have been with the leadership, what's it called? Leadership training with Mr. Valenzuela. I think that sets like a really strong foundation so that everyone, it's not like imperative that, hey, you have to be accountable, but setting that foundation will make people accountable of whatever they do. And um, at least of what I've been in the Eboard, that leadership training has really set a strong foundation so that people are accountable about what they do, and just the team overall about how the chapter is doing.
Awesome, thank you.
Elizabeth, you may ask your question.
Hi again. So my question, I've been trying to get it formulated. We've seen time and time again that every year I don't know, can you guys hear me? I think
It cuts out a little bit, but
sorry. Okay. Every year we see wonderful new potential leadership, people willing to step up and grow, and that's why they're running for positions here. But obviously not everyone can be did, no matter how deserving they are of it or how promising they are. So my question is, how do you plan on keeping these leaders? Because you talk this divide between the board and general body. How do you plan on taking initiative in order to keep these people who want to be active, to maybe keep them at the level that they expect from themselves?
okay, let me repeat your question because it kind of cut out. So you're asking,
Sorry.
it's okay. So you're asking mostly about how am I gonna have those people like keep doing or keep asking or realize their own potential?
Yeah, because in your speech you mentioned about also, encouraging general body members to, work on their own projects, still in the name of our chapter. So, but I mean, you've been here for a while. You've seen the drop off rate, like rate of people, wanting to do something and they didn't get elected, just, falls off a cliffside. So how do you plan on kind of keeping that level head, because you need people who want to do stuff, to stay. So how on transitioning between those two stages?
Okay. So I think in order to keep people like realizing their potential, it is really important for us as Eboard and like as part of the leadership that we've come to like have in ourselves, to explain and demonstrate to them that even though they might have not like come to whatever they set to themselves, that doesn't necessarily mean that they haven't growth like as a person, or maybe like sometimes they just set themselves like too high of standards. So I feel like we should set an environment, like an inclusive environment will help for us to discuss those type of matters. And we should obviously like start forming the habit of being more open about, you know, uh did I expect to like get this, why did I not get this, but what did I get in return, what did I learn. I think those types of questions help you a lot to like not be a, not that I'm saying that people are close-minded, but sometimes like like we fool ourselves, but by saying that we had a shortcoming, but like we did so much, like it was really good still. So I think like communicating with people and demonstrating them, through communication and relation and leadership, of course, that they've done really well and that they should keep going at it. It will be like crucial for that to happen.
Thank you.
All right, because you guys asked very high quality questions, we covered everything generally from what I was going to ask. So I believe we are ready to move on to the next position. So we can invite Fabian back in or ask him. Oh, yes, round of applause for Ramon. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.